Friday's been good to me, but sometimes I still get unwound. The Central Texas rain's the strongest drink around. Next on the curve where I first got clean, I say hello to some of my friends. I might stop by the Guadalupe Dam, jump in that river for a little plans. I can't forget about Luke and Bob. I packed my guitar this time. The picker circle starts right at 3, and playing with them guys gets me high. The Texas Hill Country.
Live from Houston, Texas, this is Big Ideas, Small Business with your hosts, Brian Gendron and Shavonnah Robert Schreiber. And now, the music of Max Flynn.
Starting to feel a little crazy again. I think it's time I start to pack my things. The city life has really got me down.
Welcome to Big Ideas, Small Business. This is a show for business owners by business owners, for entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, side hustlers. We're here to get you in business and keep you in business. My name is Brian Gendron, joined by the always lovely Shavonnah Robert Schreiber. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm great.
I'm so excited about our guests today.
Me too.
Seriously. Because you know I like dogs more than I like people. Like, actually. Did
Wow.
you know that?
I didn't know that.
I have a sign in my house that says something like, dogs welcome, people tolerate it. And I really believe that. Like, I believe that.
Excellent. Well, I've got a business venture that I did with my children we'll talk about later, but let's
yeah.
get to our guests. Who are we here with today?
We're here with Bobby and Brian.
Brad.
I'm
Brian.
You're Brian. We're here with Brian, Bobby, and Brad.
That's confusing.
Yeah, right?
3 B's.
Give me a break. Yeah. So with All Fido, super excited about. Okay, so let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
So tell us a little bit about All Fido in particular. So you started this business in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone had to say, what is the least likely time to start a business? I think they would say during the pandemic, right?
Correct.
So tell us, how did this all come about?
Well, it started with Brad and I. We were trying to come up with an idea during 2020. We've been talking about ideas for probably since as long as we've known each other, trying to come up with not just a get-rich-quick scheme, but a good business idea.
Good.
The first idea, and we actually debated on whether we were going to share this or not, because I think it has some merit still. We tried to come up with a dog treat that's a whistle.
What now?
Yep. Well, the thought process behind it was I use a whistle a lot when I'm working with my dogs.
Okay.
So instead of trying to get somebody to buy a whistle, buy a bag of treats that also make a whistle sound. Biggest issue was putting it in your mouth.
Oh, so the dog treat would be the whistle.
Correct.
Yep.
And then you give them the whistle as the treat.
So you have it in your mouth and give it to
Not saying it was a great idea, but that's where this all started.
Yeah.
Did you prototype it?
We tried. I made molds for the product. We did a bunch of, I have a 3D printer. We did a bunch of different 3D printing and casting work. It didn't go well. So brainstorming our next pivot, we came up with pet supplements the idea for that. The reason being, the clients that I work with and the dogs that I work with, I use pet supplements a ton for one reason or another. But a lot of my clients didn't know about them. If they knew about them, they never bought them. So there was a big educational gap that we saw in the market.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there offering great products that I was using. So the idea when I brought it to Brad was, why don't we do it ourselves?
Right.
So 2020, we had the time to do it. We're stuck at home. We've been working on this for what? Over a year and a half.
Yeah. So Bobby walks in the office one day. We're not only brother-in-laws, but we're neighbors. So he walks in the office. He's like, hey, I think we should start a dog supplement company. I'm like, really? He says, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about it. It sounds cool. I like this idea. And then that's how it started.
How many dogs between the two of you?
Brad's got one.
14. Yeah, I have one. He's got 13, but yeah.
I own 4 right now. Brad's got 1. So 5 that we own, and then I got 9 other ones that I'm working with right now.
So Bobby trains dogs.
Yeah.
So he's
That's
got
my full-time gig.
He's got that connection with the animals.
You said something in there that's from a marketing perspective is really important. You said that there's a lack of education about these products. That's a huge hurdle as a new company, that not only do you need to be able to, before you can sell your products, you need to educate the market on your products. What is that strategy? Podcasts?
And I'm going to plug
Yeah.
Mad Meg here. They're the ones that are working with us.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to Hannah here behind the camera. She is Mad Meg, and her team are working with us to help get the word out. I know dogs, and I understand how some of the manufacturing process happens. Brad knows the sales side of business.
Right.
We put our wits together, and we're going to be able to hopefully make a great business. But we don't know is how to be an expert in social media,
Yeah.
PR, how to connect with y'all. I mean, that because of Mad Meg, we got to connect with y'all. So with that well-rounded, hopefully a strategy of attack, that's how we're planning to educate.
So tell us a little bit. I mean, so you brought me. Do you have a dog, Brian?
I don't.
Not yet.
Not
dog.
yet.
Not ever.
Yeah.
But our whole neighborhood is empty nesters with dogs.
Love
Maybe a good chance to do a quick little thing. So I have a business. My son has a business.
Yeah.
We make dog treats, natural ingredients, dog treats. We
wonderful.
bake them in the kitchen, and then we sell them on the street to all the dog walkers.
That's
We've
smart.
only gotten 2 no's out of hundreds of people.
Because
walking
the
by.
baby sell. The
Yeah,
son
the kids
is-
are selling.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we're in the same space, or at least you and my kids are. But no, we don't have dogs. But that's how they get to play with dogs. That's the way.
That's a win-win. So you don't
It's
actually,
great. Yeah, we'll never have dogs. Too much.
Yeah.
effort.
It's a lot of work. So
It
we
is.
talked about that.
they're
Responsible.
hairy and they smell sometimes. And
And if you have a bull mastiff, they drool. So tell us
Yes.
about your product. So you brought the Chill Chew, which I asked, can I take this? And you said maybe
see what
not.
happens.
And then ear cleaner, which we go through a ton of. So I have 3 dogs, and somebody's ear is always full of fungus or something. So tell us about your products. What else do you make?
These are our first 2 products that we
Okay.
started with. So when we had the idea and started taking it to an actual business, we had to vet out a lot of different manufacturers.
I think we called everybody in the country.
We called as many. I mean, I don't
exhausting.
know,
Of course, you called and you
Yeah,
sent emails.
I sat there and listened.
And,
Yeah.
it's grilling them with questions, understanding what the facility's like, what are they about, how long they've been in business, what do they follow as far as guidelines and keeping,
matters.
making sure they're up to par with their manufacturing abilities. Right?
Yeah.
So we position ourselves with a manufacturer that's been in business for over 30 years. That was one of the important pieces to it. After that was, you got to work with your logistics partner. You got to work with your branding specialty,
They did a great
services.
Yeah.
And so it all started to come together. What we like about the Chill Chew is we've marketed it for traveling, training, and stress, right? So Bobby uses it and found a need for it with his dogs. It kind of relaxes the animal a bit to try and stay focused on what the task is, to being trained to do something new.
Right. 'Cause you have working dogs. You work
Correct.
with, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So it kind of takes them down to a level where you can kind of focus and have less, a little bit less anxiety.
And it's not a sedative necessarily. It's just has natural ingredients that, I hate to say this, but takes the edge off. It sounds like they're having a beer, but they're not. But
Yeah.
it takes the edge off just enough so there's not this anxiety and inability to soak up what's happening. It kind of
Yes.
just lets them relax and settle in a little bit and get the work done that we need to happen. I don't use it all the time. It's just another tool in the tool chest of things that I can do to help work with a dog, whether it's real wound up or real reactive, one reason or another.
And so Bobby also has Shiner, one of his dogs, who has a problem with thunderstorms.
Oh, yeah.
And he panics and freaks out.
Yeah,
So
it's bad.
and so he's already had somewhat of an experience with trying to find the right product to give to
And
his
I've
dog.
used a bunch of different of these types of exact products
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
him and had some success and some not.
Yeah.
And so I've been really happy with our product and how it's been working for him.
So obviously there's a need, right? There's a lot of thunderstorms. There's a lot
Fire
of dogs being
alerts.
trained, right? Yeah.
Kennel anxiety,
Halloween.
separation anxiety, Halloween, just COVID with masks alone can cause some dogs to be reactive.
Yeah.
Leash reactivity. I mean, you
Going
name
to the
it.
vet.
Going to the vet. Going to the groomer.
Absolutely. Going on a road trip.
My marketing mind is just going crazy
Well,
right
there's
now.
a lot of
There's
opportunities.
a YouTube video for each of those scenarios that could be out there.
Well, and my doggy,
Absolutely.
because I told you my puppy is a wild man. So if which I'm going to give him some of the chews and
Yes,
we'll
I
see.
want to hear how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, because he will help you. So one, he's cute and he's crazy.
He's
so if
hired.
it works
Yeah.
for him, I'm telling you, like every dog should take it. because he is wound up.
We need
Tired.
dog models.
Yes,
We will take
he's so
them.
cute.
And not
Yes.
most of our dog models, like my working dogs, we need like other than working dog
So
models.
he's
Yeah.
a Frenchie. So
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tell us about the formula. Did I read hemp on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about the formula. How you came up with the formula? Did you work with a chemist or?
So the manufacturing partner that Brad mentioned earlier, they came up with it, and that's essentially kind of after what we asked for.
Mhm.
I like to think Brad and I are pretty smart, but
Well, you're an engineer, right?
correct.
So
I'm an
that
engineer by
helps.
education. I'm
Yeah.
a manufacturing engineer by education. So I understand how this manufacturing process works, and I knew how to make these things happen. And I kind of knew the right words to say, but not really. So we knew enough to get by and communicate. So we worked with them, and they were able to give us the formula and the product that we felt fit our needs best.
Mhm.
So it's all, scientifically proven, tested. There's a testing period, a stability period. The shelf life is known and measured. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, every part of this has been through a rigorous process that
Mhm.
we didn't necessarily do in our own house.
Yeah,
People a lot smarter with many more years of experience in this industry have done for us.
that's
That's
awesome.
interesting. So and on the manufacturing side,
Mhm.
was that a cost to you? Was that a value add to them? How did that look as far as working with the manufacturer and negotiation?
Usually beneficial. I mean, I guess this business, we pay them to do that part, and then we bring the product in. And on top of just the product itself, but the overall experience, we mark what we think is fair, and then we sell that product for X.
Mhm.
We're selling a product, but the brand itself isn't just selling a product. Like you mentioned about marketing and making videos, our plan is to create, not necessarily a member area, but an area where our customers can go and have not customized, but training videos and product videos that they have access to understand exactly what the best way to use this
Ooh,
stuff is
that's
that
good.
me and Brad are going to put together. I mean, I've been training dogs professionally for almost 8 years now. And so I kind of know what makes these dogs tick and what to look for. And I have a lot of dogs that I can work with and we can take videos of. And so we can show you from best case to worst case scenario what that's going to look like. And so we're going to start with just how to use the ear cleaner the best and then work our way up.
Yeah.
Best time to use the chill chew when you're going to the vet, what that looks like. We have 2 vets in our town. We both use them and we got to know them pretty good. I feel like I'm in there every other week with a different dog.
Yeah.
And so that's a good opportunity to show somebody like, look, in a high stress environment, these are the things you can do with the benefit of the chill chew.
So you talked about going to the vet. So you're working with the animals. So you're going to the vet. You're actually using the products. So Brad, you have a sales background, right?
Yes.
So other than the most obvious, which is you're going to tell people to buy the product, tell us a little bit about how you've been able to translate that professional sales experience into All Fido.
Sure. Well, typically a lot of businesses that have, salespeople, their goal is focused on making a sale and getting that dollar figure.
Mhm.
I think what our focus on here is really just selling and delivering results based off what our product is. So, with the clear ears, which is really important. My dog, I have a Wheaten Terrier, and his ears are always dirty, always filthy. Earwax build up all the time. So when I've used this product, it helps clean his ears. I mean, it smells good. Nobody wants to smell dog earwax. Every
It's
time they
eucalyptus,
shake,
right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's good stuff.
and it's that's the result that I'm happy with. I know that can be shared with tons of people and their dogs. So it's not just the sales part, but really spreading the word. And we want to develop a platform, a brand that isn't just in it to make money. It's in it to we want to improve the relationships with pet owners and their pets through our products.
Hallelujah.
That's the goal.
And,
Hallelujah.
And, we are a startup, right? So
Yeah.
this is we've gone through a lot and wiggled through a lot and made quick decisions to get where we are today, and we're only going to improve that and grow it, and hopefully deliver more products that are a little bit more tailored to what we find in the industry. This is kind of like a broad approach, with just 2 products,
Yeah.
right? So this is what we're starting with, and we hope to see some.
But I
good-
think two products that pretty much everyone can use.
That
So
was-
I
yeah.
live 77007.
Mhm.
So I think we have, according to my husband, which I believe this is true. I mean, he can exaggerate, but I think this is true. We have the highest population of dogs per person
We need to write that
in
down.
the city. So we're right here, right on the Warrior
007.
Park.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like literally, there are dogs everywhere, like all the time, right? And so I'm thinking you need to do some pop-up shops.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yep.
Doing
Yeah,
pop-up shops,
like-
getting
go
in
down
front
to
of
Allen
people.
Parkway and just
Yeah, Allen
set up
Park is a huge dog park
Yeah,
there, but then
absolutely.
Washington Avenue, there's a bunch of different
Yeah.
opportunities. But people would buy it because there are all these dogs, and
Yep.
every dog needs their ear clean. And most dogs need to calm down at some point, right?
That was kind of the thought process.
Yeah.
I use those products the most out of any other products that I have been encountered with in my business with the dogs. That's why we went down that route.
That's smart.
I knew I could sell it to almost every dog owner for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a need, we've got a good product design, we've got a marketing strategy. More on the sales, the go-to-market for sales. Are y'all looking to get into retail? Have you started talking to retail? How does that look?
Okay, so great question. Retail is something we want to get into eventually. I think where we are right now, in order to be able to scale, you need to have like a very solid core, successful approach to market and have a good base. Make sure everybody's happy. Make sure customers are happy, and we need to understand how to engage with our customers from a small level first. Right. The second you go into retail, you're just becoming a numbers game, right? And I don't think we necessarily want to lose touch so quickly. You know, I don't ever want to lose touch, but just keep the ball rolling slowly. So yeah, retail's in the future for sure, but I want to focus on, Texas first.
Well, it's part of our brand and like what we're trying to offer to people through the videos and everything else. I almost feel like coming through retail shops might take away from some of that. I mean, we're trying to drive traffic to our own website, but it's not always a perfect game either. So we know there has to be that happy balance. So that's what we're trying to do, the videos and everything else to drive traffic. But so kind of what Brad said, like it's definitely in the back of our minds, something we're geared towards, but not right out of the gate, I don't think.
So Tim Ferriss, we talk about this all the time. We talk about a lot of books, and he says that you only need 100 like loyal or raving fans to be super successful in business, because that 100 folk know another 100 folk.
Exponential increase.
That's right.
Organic growth.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, also, I think that, I've had dogs my whole life and I'm old. So I remember when like dogs used to live outside, right? Like none of my dogs, the last 5 dogs have lived outside. Yeah. They all live in the house now, right? But, and along with that, dog owners are taking much better care of our animals than like when I grew up with my dogs that lived outside. So I think that there is not only this opportunity to educate, but there's this need and want. I mean, there are clothes for dogs. I bought my dog a hoodie. I boarded them, and it was so cute. Oh yeah, they have jackets, have raincoats. It's so cute. And then my big man, the bull mastiff, he has this big yellow raincoat, and every time we walk in, people stop. And they're like, oh my God, that's the Sandlot dog. But the point is we are taking better care of our animals. And so the idea that these are good products, like you said, manufactured with high standards and useful. Like it's not something you're like, okay, this shit didn't work. Like this is actually useful. I mean, I don't think you're going to have a problem creating the market and getting that 100 loyal fans. I don't think so.
So direct sales for the time being through the website, creating those intimate relationships, getting that feedback loop from customers. That's a good strategy, and then thinking about retail further down the line. So as you guys are you selling today? Have you brought up?
Not yet. We're gonna launch. Was it December 6th when we're going to press?
So December 6th. Just got our chill shoot today. We just picked this up today. Like it was perfect timing.
So
I was hitting the FedEx tracking. I'm like, come on. Please deliver before we go to Houston. Yeah. So we picked that up today.
So yeah, we started it during COVID, peak COVID, and now we're going to launch in December. 2 probably really bad times to either start a business and try to launch a business.
Yeah.
But we know with how much time and energy we've put into building this, that there aren't many holes here.
But when is a good time?
Right. When is a good time? That's a good point.
That brings me to my next question. So you are co-founders, brother-in-laws and co-founders.
Neighbors.
Neighbors. Yeah. That's a lot of togetherness. Neighbors, brother-in-laws, co-founders. So as we're both solo, we both founded our company separate, or like independently. And you think, it'd be great to have a co-founder, but then you think, that could kind of get messy too if you don't do things exactly the same, right? They're pros and cons. So
of course.
Tell us a little bit about how you manage to divide up the labor and make sure everyone stays in their lane and it goes smoothly.
Absolutely.
With all this togetherness, right? I mean, because it's not like, you have a co-founder where you leave and then they go their way. You live across the street from each other.
Short commute.
Yeah, you see each other all the time.
Still late half the time.
Yeah, guilty. Yeah, so it's a really good point. And I think that the time that we've spent together obviously allows you to really get a feel for someone and understand, their judgment, how you can, work well together.
Sure.
He's very witty, very quick, smart. So
flattering.
See what he says about you when you're
So that was easy for me, right? I think anytime I've had a few business partners in my past, and a lot of people always recommend like lay it all out, understand what your roles are, what your duties are, who's going to do what happens when this happens, what happened when that happens. I mean, there's a lot of changes, right? So, we don't really have clear roles. We're a team, and we communicate very clearly with each other.
That's awesome.
And it's, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Okay, you don't like it. I like it. What are we going to do? What? Give me some feedback. And then we just, you kind of dance your way through getting to a decision, right? And
dance your way to a decision. I'm going to write that down.
Dance your way and call each other out on their shit. I mean, that's pretty much
really
about
that's it. And
the big pieces.
Communication is really important. And we challenge each other a lot. And I have no problem saying no. He has no problem saying no. One of the best things I've learned just in independent consulting is when to say no.
Mm-hmm.
That the power of saying no is really big.
Yes.
So, that's a good a lesson that I've learned. But yeah,
to add to his point, like when we're doing this, we both have day jobs, we both have spouses, significant others, other obligations in the day.
And 9 dogs.
And yes, 9 dogs I'm taking care of. Other people's dogs too that I really have to be careful taking care of. People get about their dogs.
Yep.
It's all hands on deck all the time.
Yeah.
So like if Brad's out of town, I'm the one answering emails, answering phone calls, doing what needs to be done to keep things moving forward. When I'm gone, it's Brad's turn to step up to the plate. When we're both there, we try to get together as often as possible, whether it's mornings, evenings, whenever, and again, do the same thing we're doing and then divide and conquer. So we never really, like he said, came up with clear roles. Yeah. It was more of kind of a baptism by fire, and still is a little bit. But we've been pretty good, knock on wood, up until this point, and hopefully it continues. Like one of the things I constantly think about is just be good friends to each other, much like, we're not obviously spouses, but our siblings.
But you kind of are.
Our spouses are siblings.
Yeah.
So treat kind of like that in a sense of be respectful, be an adult.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be disagreements, but okay, this isn't the end of the world if you don't get your way 100%.
We have to make it work.
We have to make it work.
Well,
there's true. If I screwed you.
Holidays are going to be super awkward if we don't make it work.
No,
right?
seriously. So I talk about this that, even though you're not actually married, but when you go into business with someone, it is kind of like you're getting married. And some of those same respectful tenets that you just listed are the same things you should think about with your business partner, right?
Yeah.
So you think about how would I treat my spouse or best friends, probably even a better example, right? How do you treat your best friend? You should be treating your business partner the same.
I would agree.
Yeah. And we're a team, we're business partners, and then you have your spouses, that's your other team and your other partner, right? And our spouses are
on
labeled.
A team. They're on the team, a family team.
It's a big team, right? So I mean, it's a good there's a lot of good synergy between the four of us, which is great because at the end of the day, our significant others are very supportive of us,
right?
And that's it's important when you go home, from across the street, right?
When you walk across the lawn,
you've got that support, and that's really important too.
What's been the most surprising thing so far? So it's about 1 year in, year in. So what's been one of the things you're like, oh, I didn't expect that?
The cost,
money.
This stuff is expensive.
Money.
Say that again.
It's expensive. Everybody hear it. And we knew that going into it, but everything is just a little bit more, and then zeros start showing up, and then it's just it adds and adds and adds. But we've been able to figure that out, hopefully, for the time being. But just the amount of work too. I mean, like anybody that's done anything like this understands it. The amount of labor that goes into it. That's why it's taken us over a year.
Yeah,
to get it right.
Yeah, correct. Now, I would never say don't do it if you don't have enough money. I think if you're going to be, sourcing money, and let's say you need whatever your project is. Let's say you need $10,000. Ask for 100. I mean, that's
no joke.
Get more than what you need because there's so many things that come up. Whether it's there is an extra charge for needing to put another label on a box, which, well, it sounds little, but $1,000. Everything adds up. So
everything seems to be in thousands.
Right?
It's like you sneeze and it's $1,000. Yeah. So absolutely, just asking for more money is something that would definitely help.
Tell us about funding. So how are y'all funded? Is it self-funded?
It's internally funded right now.
Okay.
To get everything. So we didn't want to bring any outside investors in the launch phase because we're still in that building and kind of some growing pains I know are going to happen in this period. Brad and I both didn't want somebody else getting their greedy little fingers on our baby that we've put together So we
more than telling us how to do what
where our vision's going, and they may have a different vision.
Sure.
Yeah. We're kind of trying. There's a lot of pet products on the market. We're trying to do something a little different. We're not trying to necessarily be the Ozzy Osbourne of the world, but we're trying to be what the favorite book, The Purple Cow, be recognizable, be a little bit different. And so if we had somebody that says, oh, everybody else does it like this, y'all need to do it like this. We felt that would be the biggest risk that we could take there, and wouldn't be a good risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. By being too cautious is going to get us in trouble. So we decided to try to fund it internally, and we've been successful up until this point, and fingers crossed that it continues like that. I'm sure at some point when you scale, you have to bring other people in.
Yeah.
But, for right now, just to get us off the ground.
Crawl, walk, run.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very good.
It seems like y'all, is this a side hustle at this point? Y'all have day jobs? Sounds like you're able to.
Yeah, we both have a couple jobs, but
yeah, it's a side hustle. I think that's why it's taken so long.
Yeah.
But obviously hindsight 2020. If we step foot into doing this right now after what we've learned, we probably take that year process. And
I was going to ask you
maybe
that,
2-3 months.
Yeah, we could definitely condense it down.
Yeah, there'd be a significant.
We were very thorough.
Yeah,
and almost to an exhaustion. I got mad a couple times because.
It's like another manufacturer or another logistics
partner, another phone call. But that's
we wanted to do it right.
Yeah.
And you don't just agree to work with someone unless you know who they are. At least you have your diligence. Understand who you're working with.
Yes.
Having that experience now, as you grow more products and grow horizontally a little bit, now you can cut that time down to 2 to 3 months.
Absolutely.
So what would you tell someone? So say Brian and I were going to start, he has all these business ventures and he's famous, but if he weren't,
that's what I hear,
and he wanted to start a business with me, what would you tell us? Like, we're going to partner in a business. What piece of advice would you give?
Oh man.
That's like now that you've had a year
question.
And it's still fresh in your mind, what would you say?
Align yourself with people that you want to spend time with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got to like them.
And align yourself with someone that you would want to work for. I think. So, if
so much better than my answer.
Yeah. I mean, like I would work for Bobby, like, cause I respect him. I look up to him. And I think that's important. If you, you always want to surround yourself with people, from a business perspective, people that are, have more experience or doing better in business or have, built successful companies, right? You want to learn from those people. And
that's good.
I think on the people side too, people that are just as motivated, if not more motivated as you are. Because I'm bad about, I'll go up and down in motivation. Brad is a grinder, and he knows where the finish line's at. And he's just
that's
going
the number
towards
3.
It.
Remember we talked about Enneagram
That's right.
performer.
I'm up and down. I'm like, one day I want to work on a 24-hour shift. I don't want to eat or sleep. The next day I'm like, I gotta take a break from this. But I know that about myself, but that's why Brad and I sometimes work well together, and we complement each other. But we have the same vision, the same work ethic, the same. We know how to get there. We may have a different road to do it, but we know how to do it. We push each other to get to that end zone, if you will. And so I think that's another big piece. But that's just from the people side. From the business side, spend the time, do the planning. Don't rush anything if you don't have to. I mean, granted, there's a time value of money, but if you screw it up, that money's gone no matter how much time you spend letting it sit. So
make fast decisions.
Yeah, don't be. But
think fast and slow.
Think fast.
Did you read that?
Yeah. Yes. No, I need to read that.
So
sorry. Yeah, maybe not make fast decisions, but don't get stuck. Right.
We did a couple times.
Yeah. You can get stuck and it's crippling.
He's like, you got stuck. I didn't get stuck. He looks at you like, that time.
I'm sitting there tapping my foot like, we got to go. And we're like, we make this phone call.
It's easy for me to say, right? Like, I'm very indecisive. Like, I'm very skeptical, right? There's that Enneagram 6 or 7.
I'm not a skeptic. I trust people probably to a fault. So I'm like, let's go. Yeah. Let's ride. Let's see what happens.
See, but that's a good
You're from a small town?
I'm actually from Austin, born and raised originally.
Okay. I'm from a small town.
Where are you from?
Northeast.
Okay.
New Hampshire.
Okay.
But you leave your keys in the car at home, and doors are unlocked, and so I've got this implicit trust of everybody.
Yeah,
and to a fault sometimes.
Yeah, it can be.
But that's a good balance, though.
It is.
You're skeptical, you're trusting, so you can balance. You end up in the right spot, I think. Yeah. In the middle.
Usually. So far, so good.
Yeah.
I like to let my gut go in, and Brad likes to look at the details sometimes. And like, okay, we gotta find a happy balance, and so far, so good.
Look, he's skeptical. He's like, I don't know. We'll
I'm like thinking, I'm like going over scenarios. I'm like, that's, you learn from experience, right?
Absolutely.
I think, How much time do you guys spend together or separately on strategy, on thinking about the future?
Hours and hours.
hours on a weekly basis or on a day? Is there a
I
frequency?
would say both of us, and I can't necessarily speak for you, but I know we spend at least an hour, probably a day, usually together, meeting, going over something, and then I know I spend a couple hours independently in between whatever
per day because you have some time.
Right, I have time. Like my dog training gig isn't a 40-hour a week deal. I mean, it's really 24 hours a day, but I don't have to be constantly working the dogs 24 hours a day. So I have a lot of time in between. And so I'll be, thinking about strategy. What's our next move? What are our next couple moves? It's like chess. How do you make the best aggressive move, but it also makes the most sense for protecting your bottom line and the company itself and the brand.
Weekends are a good time for work. Great time for work.
7 days a week.
For anybody who thinks like that you want to go and start a business and weekends are time off, that's not the way to think.
Well, it's not reality.
No, it's not reality.
No.
It's like weekends are a great time to get work
We
done.
do spend a lot of time on the weekends.
Holidays too. So people are
yeah.
like, this is great. Everyone's going to be, at home. I can do all this
Limited
work.
distractions.
Yep.
Yes, the phone's not going off as much.
Well, my ringers are always off, so that never happens to me.
I
But
know,
I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I got to figure out how to do that.
I'm going to take your advice.
Just turn my ringers
That's
off.
interesting.
It's all
Do your
fine.
ringers go off?
No, mine's usually off. That's
Yeah.
Do y'all both do that?
practice.
Yeah.
And
Just
I
take
only
this.
consume email certain times of the day.
Yep. Same.
So you
That's
block
really
off
cool.
time?
Yep.
And
So
Yep.
you both block off times for phone calls
And
and
emails.
emails?
Yep.
How does that work?
Excellently.
You guys like that?
Yeah, it's less. You know what? But I
What-
think it's how I'm able to do when I tell people how much I do, or when people look at my schedule and they're like, "You did all." I'm like, because I'm not distracted. Time
So
block.
if you pop up email all day long, you're just like, oh, I owe this to that person, owe it to this person.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just kind of ignorant to that until it's your time to
Yeah.
owe that to them, and you knock it out and be
And
done
then
with
be
it.
done with it.
So
Good point. I've been trying to be better about that.
do you find that your productivity goes
yeah,
up
through the
because,
roof.
by
100%.
following that?
And Deep Work. So I read Cal
Oh, yeah.
Newport has a book. Deep
Yeah.
Work is excellent, and he
Okay.
talks
Put on my
about
list.
it's really, as you see, I have a lot of books.
I know. I was
here.
admiring
Yeah,
your
yeah.
collection.
Yeah.
So Deep Work is all about, like that time blocking, thinking when during the day am I at my best and I'm going to focus on the strategy or whatever task based on where you are physically during the day. And he has this one anecdote about this professor from a college in California who says, email is for people who like to stay on top of things. I like to get to the bottom of things. So this guy doesn't email at all.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Isn't that good?
I like that.
Huh.
Isn't it
Thought-provoking.
right?
I didn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read it like 3
Yeah.
times. I'm like,
Kinda
that's
blew my mind.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But
I know we can talk forever.
I can't
You always
believe
have to stop me.
we are reaching the end of our time.
Really?
Yeah,
Already?
I
I told you it's gonna
know.
go by fast, guys.
Wow.
So,
Well, okay, but when do you officially hit the market?
Yes, we need to know all
we
the
need
facts.
all
Okay,
where
so-
can people find you? When do you hit the market?
Allfido.com,
Yep.
ALLfido.com.
One word.
December 6th is our go-to.
Go to press release. Is
Yeah.
when Meg and them are going to with all the publications locally.
Our Instagram is Fido Supplements.
Yep. At Fido Supplements. Same with Facebook.
And yeah, you can find it on the website.
How many units are you trying to sell on the 6th? Let's set a goal.
2,000 units.
2,000 units on the 6th. All right, Ren, we're gonna help you.
Write that number down.
I'm about
Serious
to.
goal. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's we're really excited. So
That's
check us
awesome.
out, All Fido. This has been fun doing a podcast.
Yeah.
with you all.
Yeah, thank y'all so
So
much.
hopefully we get a chance to
Yeah.
come back and have good reports. At some
Yeah,
point.
so we should bring them back. That's something that we've talked
if
about.
Brian will have us.
we will hold you accountable.
No, yeah, for
to-
sure. That's why I wrote it down.
I want to
Oh,
learn more
wonderful.
about this email hours and phone hours too. That
It's
sounds
magic.
wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, we would love to have you guys back in the new year, 2022, and hear about all your success and everything that it's having, and all the new challenges that come with the
Yeah.
success.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So-
Yeah.
More to
they'll be
come.
there.
More money, more problems.
Yeah.
That's
As
right.
BIG said. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this has been Big Ideas, Small Business. Y'all have been fantastic. It's always good to meet new people, and people are out there doing it. And everybody listening, you guys get out there and close some business.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Central Texas reigns the strongest drink I found.
Thank you for listening to Big Ideas Small Business. Follow us at BISB Media and visit our website at www.bisbmedia.com.
What we're going for.
It's a lot, but hey,